Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk to you about how to create achievement statements for your resume. If you've talked to any career professional, you've heard that you should have achievements on your resume. So, why achievements and what's the big deal about them? The thing is that people in similar positions are doing similar things. So the director of marketing at ABC company is doing pretty much the same thing as the marketing director at XYZ company, at least on a day-to-day basis. So what sets you apart from someone in a similar position are your achievements. The thing is, you have to remember that, like all of us, employers are listening to station WIIFM, What's in It for Me. So when they're talking to candidates, they want to know what the candidate is going to be able to do for them. Employers aren't hiring bodies to fill seats, they're hiring people to help them solve problems. So when you're thinking about your achievements, they're your results or contributions or impact statements. Think about what were your biggest wins if you were sitting down in a job interview talking to someone, or if you were talking to your boss, trying to get a promotion. What are the stories that you would be telling them? Spend some time thinking about your positions over the last 10 to 15 years before you start writing your resume. Think about what challenges did you overcome, or maybe there was a problem that you uncovered and fixed. Um, you might have generated income, or maybe you did something to save time or save money. What were the things that you did that had an impact on your employer? So when you're talking about a challenge, it could be something that was there when you were hired. Maybe you were hired to fix it. It might have been, poor customer satisfaction, and they needed to bring somebody in to improve that. Or it could be something that happened while you were on the job. Maybe it was poor employee morale that came about by a change in leadership at the company. So think about the things that you've done that have made a difference where you worked over the last 10 or 15 years. So write a few stories down using the CAR format that most resume writers use with their clients. So the challenge, again, what was the problem, the issue, or the concern? And, it could be something you walked into, or it could be something that just popped up while you were there. And then the action is, what did you do to solve this problem? Resolve it, transform something. What was the actions that were taken in order to overcome this challenge? And if you were part of a team, then think about what was your role in that. Maybe you provided the leadership, or you provided expertise in a particular area. Maybe if you were looking for a new vendor to provide supplies, you might have been the person who was negotiating the contract, or you might have been the person doing the research, or maybe you were the one just doing the overall vetting. So always think about your part in the process if you're working on a team. And then the result, you want to think of it in terms of metrics, money, percentages. If you're not working in sales, it may seem like it's difficult to come up with achievements. Salespeople can talk about beating quotas or meeting quotas or generating X number of sales. But if you're working in operations, you may be doing something like streamlining a process so that instead of taking a staff member 5 days a month to do that process, maybe it only takes them two. So that gives them 3 days to work on something else. It's all a matter of thinking about these things in a different way. And you want to choose achievements that are most relevant to your target position for your resume. So if you are applying to be a VP of sales, then you want to focus on generating income, generating sales, but you also would want to talk about leadership. If you had mentored or trained new hires so that they became stars in their own right, or promoted themselves. That's something that you'd want to talk about. So again, think about the position that you were applying for and highlight the achievements that are most relevant to a hiring manager who would be hiring you for that position. Create bullets that begin with the results, including the metrics, and finish with the story. Think of it like reading a newspaper. When writers of magazine articles, newspaper articles, marketing campaigns, they start with the results, what you're going to get if you buy their product, what happened when something was done. So you want to talk about the percentages and then follow up with the story. Here's what we achieved, here's the impact, and then let me tell you about how we did it. And here are 3 examples of that. Cutting the development cycle by working with research and development to redesign the quality assurance phrase. So it's the percentage up front, followed by the story. Here, someone achieved a 65% year-over-year profit increase by eliminating redundant meetings while maintaining high-touch service. So again, here's what they achieved, the impact that they had, followed by the story. The last one is reduced turnover 25% by boosting employee morale. So this person, they met with their staff to set goals and provided stretch assignments to help, retain their employees. You want to remember when you're writing your resume to connect quickly with your readers. The Ladders did a study. The first time they did it was in 2012, and the big story or metric really that came out of that was that recruiters spent 6 seconds looking at a resume before they made a decision. They redid that study in 2018, and the number they came up with 7.4 seconds. What they did was they put eye scanning goggles on recruiters and had them look at resumes, and they found that they looked at where they were, where they worked. They might swing down and look at their education, and then they scanned the different companies they worked for. Employers, when responding to a survey by CareerBuilder in 2014, said that they took about 2 minutes. And what was also noteworthy to come out of that survey was that they said more than one person was looking at the resume before they made a decision to have candidates come in, and certainly when it was time to hire. And you want to also think about the other readers of your resume and, HR associates or administrative assistants. Sometimes in a large company, the HR associate who may be new or the hiring manager's administrative assistant may be giving the job description and a stack of resumes and told to choose a few people to come in and be interviewed. So again, whether it's recruiters, employers, or HR associates, you want to connect quickly with your readers. Once you have this content, you do want to package it in a modern scannable resume that will make you stand out. So the format you want to use is focus primarily on recent positions, the last 10 to 15 years, and you want to include a few lines about each employer just to provide context. If you're not working for a company who's a name brand like Diageo or Priceline, providing a little context will help the recruiter or hiring manager see how you would fit into their company. Then, of course, a summary of your daily duties. You don't want to avoid statements like responsible for, but, just put a brief summary. Now, that might be a couple of paragraphs of 2 to 3 to 4 lines in each paragraph. You don't want to have large blocks of text. After that, you want to have 3 to 5 bullets that begin with the results and end with the story. Those are going to be your achievement statements, and those are what are going to make you stand out to employers. So again, You want to make sure to include the achievements on your resume. Remember that your experience isn't enough. Someone in your position at another company is doing pretty much the same thing as you are. And what really makes you stand out and makes you valuable to a potential employer is the impact that you've made at your previous employers. Again, thanks for joining me today. If you're serious about your job search, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.